Western script, Eastern reality. This is the algorithm. Rewrite the rules. Greenland, 57,000 souls, $100,000 per person. While the global mainstream media is still debating whether this is madness or a deal, the Eastern algorithm has already completed the final power audit behind the scenes. This $100,000 is not American generosity. It is the dying gasp of a hegemony on the brink of collapse. This contract is not a ticket to wealth. It is a ransom note, soaked in the stench of decay.
Listen closely, because I'm about to tell you the truth that no Western observer dares to speak. The United States has been backed into a physical corner by the Eastern algorithm. Why now? Why Greenland? Because the Eastern algorithm is formatting global resource distribution by the second. When Eastern nuclear infrastructure reaches the gates of the Arctic, and when the Eastern physical settlement system has completely choked off the credit oxygen of the US dollar, Washington realized they have nothing left. Aside from a mountain of printed digits, they can't even buy a single kilowatt of power or a gram of rare earth. The US is terrified. They've discovered that the days of ruling through universal values and carrier strike groups have been utterly terminated by the Eastern physical productivity algorithm. In the face of the 2026 Physical Audit, any asset without atomic energy, backing is worth exactly zero. And so, the US was forced to play its ugliest, most undignified card, buying time. $100,000 per person. This is the final financial fraud. The US wants to use these dollars before they turn into worthless scrap paper, exploiting the last bit of residual faith in the dollar to seize the most real, most hardened physical sovereignty beneath Greenland's ice. They don't want to save Greenland. They want to drag Greenland down as a human shield while they drown. The Eastern algorithm has calculated that without Greenland, the Fortress America plan will have a fatal physical gap in the north. Eastern infrastructural power would seep into every inch of the ice like water. Look closely. This $100,000 is not a gift. It is the final physical gamble of an empire before the coffin is nailed shut. The Eastern algorithm has driven them to desperation, and this show has only just begun.
$100,000 might buy loyalty, but it cannot buy the laws of physics. While the US is still counting its paper bills, the East's small modular reactors, SMRs, have already completed the energy coverage of the Arctic in simulated computations. Greenland is not an isolated ice sheet. It is the most critical link in the global atomic chain of 2026. He who holds the energy holds the power to reformat the world.
Let's dismantle the root of American fear. Behind the $100,000 payout lies Washington's absolute terror over the loss of physical control. The Eastern algorithm has already defined the Northern Sea Route, NSR, as the central nervous system of global logistics for the next 50 years. Eastern icebreakers, automated factories, and atomic docks, independent of the dollar system, are spreading beneath the ice like a neural network. The US has realized that its aircraft carriers are mere scrap metal in the face of Arctic flows, and its financial sanctions are just noise against physical bartering. Their only remaining move is to forcefully acquire the land with the last batch of digital tokens before Eastern infrastructure arrives. They want to turn Greenland into an ice prison to intercept the flow of Eastern energy into the Atlantic. This $100,000, it's a bail bond for the people of Greenland to enter their own jail. But the Eastern algorithm tells us infrastructure is irreversible, while currency is formatable at any time. While the East offers eternal power, automated greenhouses, and a satellite network directly linked to global productivity, the $100,000 given by the US will evaporate instantly in the fires of hyperinflation. The US is buying territory. The East is building civilization. This is the ultimate dimensional strike of 2026.
In the logic of the Eastern algorithm, there are no allies, only unharvested assets. When the US extended that $100,000 check to the people of Greenland, it also drove a blade deep into the back of Denmark, and indeed, all of Europe. This transaction marks the moment the American empire, in a desperate bid for survival, began to devour its own kin.
Have you wondered why the Danish government is so furious right now? It's because they've realized that the so-called transatlantic partnership is worth less than scrap paper in the face of physical formatting. The Eastern algorithm predicted this long ago. When the energy chain snaps, the big brother will always eat the little brother first. What the US is doing now is the sovereign dismantling of the European Union. If they can bypass the Danish government today to kidnap Greenland with cash, they can do the same to any resource-rich nation within NATO tomorrow. Why? Because Washington has realized its 2D currency system can no longer sustain the living standards of the entire Western world. It must downsize. It must forcibly pull Greenland's resources into its Fortress America perimeter. Whether Europe freezes or collapses is no longer a variable in Washington's calculations. This is the fundamental difference between the Eastern algorithm and Western elites. The East empowers allies through infrastructure, connecting everyone into a symbiotic atomic network. The US liquidates allies through plunder, turning everyone into blood bags to prolong its own life. The $100,000 for Greenland is the first domino in the collapse of Western civilization. America has given up on being a world leader. It now only wants to be the last cannibal standing.
$100,000. In Manhattan 2026, that might barely cover a few months' rent in a luxury condo. But in Greenland, the US wants to use that sum to buy out the rare earths, oil, and sovereign future buried beneath your feet for millennia. The real question is, the moment Greenland officially joins the US map, will that $100,000 still be money?
Let's run an Eastern algorithm financial simulation. When you sign that contract and take the $100,000, do you think you've achieved financial freedom? Wrong. You've just completed a negative asset transfer. The US is currently facing trillions in annual interest and a collapsing social welfare system. Once Greenland becomes a US territory, the dollars in your hands will be instantly formatted by the hyperinflation of the American mainland. Here is the most rogue part of the plan. The money they give you must stay within the US banking system. They will tell you, for security, these funds must be withdrawn in installments, or they must be used to purchase specific treasury bonds. The result? You give them physical sovereignty. They give you a digital account that can be frozen or silenced at any time. The Eastern algorithm saw through this long ago. This is the largest atoms for digits scam in human history. The US takes the rare earths for chips, the uranium for nuclear power, and the ports for global shipping. And you get a piece of scrap paper with the face of a dead president, losing 1% of its value every single day. In the 2026 Physical Audit, he who owns the physical is the house. He who owns the digits is the sacrifice. Greenlanders are using their future to pay off the bad debts of a dying empire.
Greenland's glaciers will not melt for dollars, and the laws of physics will not bend for printing presses. In 2026, we are in the midst of the most violent redistribution in human history. America buying land, America kidnapping leaders, America betraying allies, these are not signs of strength. They are the final, frantic flickers of an old system before the power is cut forever.
The Eastern algorithm's final verdict on this Greenland deal is futile struggle. Why? Because you can buy the land, but you cannot buy the flow of productivity. While the East's automated fleets, nuclear grids, and physical credit systems merge into a unified reality, The wall the US is trying to build in the Arctic will only become an isolated tomb. The US thinks it is buying time with Greenland. In reality, it is merely building a larger, more expensive Arctic graveyard for itself. In this era of great formatting, he who controls the atoms controls the narrative. If you are still obsessed with dollar digits and the universal values fairy tales woven by Western media, you will be the first to be formatted. The Eastern algorithm isn't asking you to take sides. It's asking you to wake up. If you want to find a true sanctuary in the physical tsunami of 2026, if you want to be the first to master the physical truths that mainstream media dare not mention, like this video right now, subscribe to our channel, and share this with friends who are still lost in the digital fantasy. We don't do news, we do survival audits. Remember, atoms always outweigh digits. Land always outweighs dollars. Welcome to the new world. See you in the next audit.